Hello guys, Dom here, back with another weekly news roundup of all the stuff that's been going on in UK esports over the past week. This is quite a lot to pack in this week because I wasn't here last week. I was on holiday down in the Cotswolds celebrating my birthday with my family, so that was really nice. Halloween and everything, nice to have a break, and wrote some more on my book, up to 95k words now, so I'm hoping this month I'll be finished, but my twins are due any week now, and we'll have to see if I'm able to finish the book on time. Doesn't matter if I don't. Hopefully I'll be able to finish it for early next year. But anyway, enough about me. Let's get into the news. I'm going to start off with some of the global news this time, because there was some big news. We had Blizzcon, and we had this, of course. G2 have beaten SKT in the semi-final of the League of Legends World Championships 2019, and this is a great piece of news for UK League fans, European fans. For a European team to have beaten one of the best teams in the world at League of Legends for many years. SKT have been up there winning worlds or close to winning worlds, and G2, well, I think it's fair to say they're the best European League team we've had in some time. They beat SKT 3-1 as well. If you'd have told me beforehand what the margin would be, I'd say 3-2 every time. That's just fantastic for G2 to advance. They're going to meet FunPlus Phoenix in the final. It was a great game. I think some of the headlines came from the press conference that took place afterwards. There was some criticism of some of the media's questions, and Faker broke down and cried. I think the coach broke down and cried. I didn't watch the whole thing entirely, but I saw several headlines on it. And SKT, they're a great team. Obviously, they're not what they were before. I think Faker's still amazing, but it just shows, that the Giants can be beaten. And congratulations to G2. And I just really hope we can not crumble in the final now. And I've seen some headlines with a G2 player saying that's why they don't want the pressure and all the hype of, we're going to win the final, because it does add pressure. Let's just take it easy kind of thing, I saw this tweet from Paul Challoner, the well-known British esports host. And I like this. He said, South Korea has dominated top-end esports for a very long time. This weekend, however, they lost at Overwatch, lost in League of Legends, and only Dark rescued their honour with a win at StarCraft 2. Their advantage has finally ended. The West is now on par. And I don't disagree with Paul. I think that the West have been getting better and better over the years. The amount of times I've seen Fnatic go far in Worlds and come agonisingly close and just or lose to SKT and things like that. And Korean and Asian teams, this is good. This is good. I really hope this is the year for G2. But we'll see this weekend. And on the G2 stuff as well, is that match G2 versus SKT has beaten the Fortnite World Cup as the most viewed esports match. It says here, according to esports charts, the peak viewers almost reached 4 million. Worldwide during that match, which is way above Fortnite World Cup 2019 finals at 2.3 million peak viewers. This is concurrent views across YouTube and Twitch platforms. So that's fantastic stats there. And looking at other esports news, actually, I have missed something here. Somewhere in here, there is. There we go. You're supposed to be over here. Worlds finals. There's quite a few viewings taking place this weekend across the UK. I was hoping to do a roundup article, but I'm not sure if I'm going to get around to doing that. But here's one at Fnatic's headquarters. Sorry, no, it isn't. It's at the Grand. The Clapham Grand. There we go. At Clapham Junction. Fnatic are presenting esports at the Grand. That's this Sunday the 10th of November, 12 midday to 6 p.m. And they're going to be showing the World's Finals on a 24-foot screen, so that seems cool. There will also be a cosplay competition, giveaways and meet and greets. I can't make that, sadly, but have fun to whoever goes, or if you go to any other viewings. BlizzCon, of course, this was loads of news coming out of BlizzCon over the weekend. I'll get onto some of the other stuff. The game announcements. Overwatch 2 has been announced. We also had World of Warcraft, Shadowlands expansion and Diablo 4, but those two, it's not as big news in the esports world. Overwatch 2, of course, this is going to affect Overwatch League, I'm sure, and the World Cup and everything like that. And they've announced there's a cool little trailer and everything. Blizzard have promised updated character models, which they've shown off, as well as co-op missions. I like the sound of that. You know, I've wanted more PvE from Overwatch, so I'm looking forward to that. And a new push map type, where teams battle to take control of a robot that begins in a central location, then push it towards the enemy base. And I heard about Overwatch 2 being in development a couple of years ago, and I did a little rumour piece on my site, and I'm glad that turned out to be true. What I heard was probably the start of development, probably, but good to see that come in. And elsewhere at BlizzCon, Method EU has won the Mythic Dungeon International, so congrats to those guys. Method just seem to win after win after win in World of Warcraft esports. I know they didn't do the classic world first, but when it comes to retail World of Warcraft, current version of World of Warcraft, there's arguably no other org in the world as strong as Method. And they actually beat Method NA in the final, so that just shows the strength of Method there. And in other BlizzCon esports news, the Team UK unfortunately crashed out in the group stages in the Overwatch World Cup, losing 3-0 to Korea, 2-1 to France, 3-0 to the USA and 2-1 to Sweden. Sad to see that. UK have done very well in previous years. Hopefully they'll do better next year. And elsewhere at BlizzCon, of course, everyone beforehand were talking about what protests might happen around the Hong Kong controversy, which I'm sure you heard of. And there was one thing I highlighted here, because we had a British streamer and content creator, Taliesin, from Taliesin and Evertel, who actually allowed some of the protesters to say what they wanted to say, free Hong Kong and so on, during the panel. I've got a clip here. Let's see if I can bring this up for you.
Yeah, free Hong Kong. Revolution of our times.
Sounds good to me. Hey there. My name's Laurentium. So anyway, the identity of the mysterious jailer being unknown and somewhat a new figure in Warcraft LoW, is there a possibility that there could be a character we know is connected?
You got a question, mate?
Yeah. Free Hong Kong.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Sorry about that.
So there you go. I thought Taliesin handled that pretty well. Sounds good to me, he said. I mean, if you look at Blizzard's response to Blitzchung being banned for saying free Hong Kong, revolution of our times, after his Hearthstone match on stream, they said something along the lines of, we're all for people having free speech, but we don't allow this kind of thing into our esports broadcast. We want to focus on the games and things like that. You know, Taliesin was obviously hired by Blizzard, and I'm sure would have spoken to them beforehand about what happens if this kind of thing happens. He's probably had a discussion with them. What could they do in that situation? You might argue that they're happier for it to have been said at BlizzCon rather than an actual esports broadcast. But then they're both broadcasts, aren't they? They're both Blizzard official broadcasts. So who knows? There was other news as well about. Let's see if if I can bring it up here. There we go. Yeah, so Blizzard president also apologised on stage at BlizzCon for the Hong Kong Hearthstone controversy. A lot of people in the gaming community that I've seen have sort of been disappointed with his apology. A lot of people have described it as just words. You know, and doesn't change anything ultimately. He said, JL Brack said, Blizzard had the opportunity to bring the world together in a tough Hearthstone esports moment about a month ago, and we did not. We moved too quickly in our decision making, and then to make matters worse, we were too slow to talk with all of you. We didn't live up to the high standards that we really set for ourselves, and we failed in our purpose. For that, I'm sorry, and I accept accountability. But a lot of people are saying, nothing has actually changed. It's just a blanket statement. And this is some great news here from, again, Blizzcon Esports News. Hearthstone has crowned the first female grand champion at Blizzcon. Chinese pro player. I'm going to just say her gamer name because I can probably say that first name wrong. VK Lion. She's become the first woman to win a major BlizzCon championship. Oh, cool! I haven't seen that art before. Some cool artwork on the Hearthstone Esports Twitter, and she had quite an emotional moment on stage, I believe. Let's see if I can bring this up here. I don't know how long this is. 20 seconds. Okay, so that video is just she did actually give a speech as well. She said, "This is the best way to strike back at those people who doubted me only because I am a girl. It proves that girls can be strong pro players just as guys are." So that's I think that's great news. We need more female champions in esports, and this is good news. Elsewhere in the global news, before I move on to UK, Mixer is continuing to snap up these big streamers, these big names in the world of gaming. They've signed a deal with Shroud now, who's left Twitch behind, and he's 7 million followers there for Microsoft's platform. And apparently there's going to be more big news. Slasher, the esports journalist, has said on Twitter recently that we're going to see more of this in the months to come, and not just from Microsoft but from Google as well, who are going to be looking to bring big names onto YouTube. So YouTube compared to Twitch hasn't been huge in like the streaming world at all. They obviously still want to change that, so it'd be interesting to see what happens there. So moving on to the UK news then, I'd say the biggest story this week is probably the UK Fortnite player FaZe Jarvis, who was banned for life by Epic Games for using an aimbot hack on a second account. Now, I've looked into this, and Jarvis did use the aimbot on a second account, not in tournaments or anything like that. But, if you're going to use an aimbot and make YouTube videos on it, which he did, you're publicly breaking the game's terms of service, and Epic can easily see who you are and then remove your main account. And he put out a very heartfelt apology video, which has been viewed 5 million times, and is one of the top, when I checked earlier, it was the top 5 trending video on YouTube, which is insane. And he said, "When I was making these videos, I never thought about the consequences. Cheating in anything is terrible. You should never do it. It's a dumb thing to do. I should have paid more attention to the community rules and terms of service. I urge you to review them so this doesn't happen to you." And he did say, "I take accountability for my actions, and I understand completely why this has happened. I just wish I had known how severe the consequences were at the time, and I would never thought about doing it. I love all of you who still support me. This is not the end." And I checked his Twitch earlier, and he's been streaming Call of Duty instead. Not a fan of the publication, but the Daily Mail interviewed his mum, who said that Jarvis made an error and he admits that, but the gaming community needs to rethink how it treats people. He's broken. He loves that game. He doesn't have a devious bone in his body, and what I really know is that for any mistake that doesn't physically harm a person, there should be the chance to make amends. I see where she's coming from, but there are other horrible crimes out there that don't involve physical harm, such as mental and abuse and harassment and financial scams and things like that. So she's going to stand up for a boy, of course. Moving on into League of Legends now, Fnatic Rising have been crowned Kings of UK League of Legends, is what I called them, after winning another Forge of Champions. And they've basically done the domestic quadruple this year. They've won 2 Forge of Champions titles and 2 UK League Championships. So, congrats to Fnatic Rising. That's no mean feat. And they had, all the pressure was on them. They're the biggest name in the tournament in the UK scene, and they've done it. They've done it, and deservedly so. They beat Diabolus 2-0 in the Summer Forge of Champions Best of 3 final. This was a few weekends ago now. I'm putting a lot of news in here that I basically didn't include last week because I was away last week. So I'm looking forward to next year in UK League of Legends. Riot and LVP, this is a multi-million pound, multi-year investment. Let's not forget that they started only in 2018. I'm looking forward to how things adapt, and of course the tower format has been removed from UKLC and going to traditional double round robin, I think it is. So elsewhere in UK League news, Barrage Retirement Home Edition, Barrage's second team qualified for the UKLC. So in doing so, they actually played the other Barrage, the main Barrage team, in the final. There was some controversy around that, and LVP did put a statement out a while back, basically saying that if the players own the spot, and it's up to them if they give it to Barrage and stuff like that. And if there's any games that were thrown, LVP would force a change of ownership, but I don't think there was anything bad there. You can't blame Barrage for putting 2 teams in. But our writer on my site, Megalodontus, who cheers to him for doing some good coverage of the UK scene where I haven't had as much time to do it. He's written about Barrage Retirement Home Edition, their story through this Forge of Champions, and he also interviewed their coach, Matthias Sujdak. I hope I've said that right. Kiao. I've probably said it wrong, but he said some interesting things. During our first scrim, we all said we believe we can qualify for UKLC. I believe our mentality is beyond any other team in the promo relegation tournament. Congrats to those guys. I know I say that a lot, but I like to focus on positive stories more than I do negative stories, despite what some people may think of me. And moving on, another positive story, this one written by Craig while I was away. ESL Academy to improve Dota 2 grassroots scene. ESL has announced ESL Academy, a new initiative that aims to improve on the Dota 2 grassroots scene. In partnership with DHL and Dota Buff, it aims to promote Dota 2 players from ranked stars to pro players with a $240,000 prize pool available throughout year one. That's brilliant for a sort of lower tier thing. So looking forward to that. I don't know if there's a UK. I did read this, but it was a little while ago now. Let me see. It basically follows on from this. ESL announced their ESL Premiership Skirmish for Dota 2, which is a separate tournament for the UK and Ireland, and that will conclude on the 24th of November this month on its own stage in Manchester, alongside the Rainbow Six and CSGO finals. So good to see Dota getting some love there. Elsewhere, more ESL news in the UK. They've teamed up with Birmingham City University to launch a new esports management degree. So we're seeing more unis get involved now with esports. Rob Black, COO at ESL UK, said Birmingham City University are providing a genuinely insightful and exciting course to prepare students for the fast-moving world of esports. I welcome this news. The more universities doing it right, the better. If a uni is involved with ESL, they're going to be doing it right. The University of Chichester has Rams from of Team Dignitas fame in the past. He's worked at Scan. He's super experienced, former Quake player and other games. I'm excited by this. I just hope other unis out there do things the right way. Because esports is still growing and we're having hundreds of kids on these courses. Do we have hundreds of jobs available for them? Maybe in the future we'll have more, but I guess that's like other industries as well, isn't it? To be honest, I've had friends who've done things like film studies. They don't work in film, but they've still got decent careers and everything. So I guess you could say the same for these esports degrees as well. There's crossovers, isn't there? The digital world, the tech industries out there. I'm sure if you applied for a job in social media or content creation or digital marketing or anything like that, and you've got a degree in esports and you've shown you're digitally savvy and you have all these esports, you have all these sort of management skills and general tech skills, you're going to be impressing the employer. Another good esports story here. A British player has won a prize valued at $1 million in the world's fastest game, a racing game tournament. James Baldwin, 22-year-old, took first place in Las Vegas, and he's won the prize of landing a place in the R Motorsport Aston Martin team for the whole of for 2020 season, which is valued at some $1 million. And he had a 10-second lead above racers in the tournament, which is insane. So congrats to James. UK has got some very good talent in racing games, and I'm really encouraged by this news. We've got Brendan Lee, I think it is, who's really good at F1 games as well, and we've got several others out there. And on racing news as well, another interesting story. One of the best Trackmania players, who's British, Thomas Pack Cole, has joined M&M Gaming, the UK esports organisation. And Daniel, one of the co-founders at M&M, said it's great to have a Trackmania legend join the roster, and I'm very excited to see what can be achieved with the addition of Pack. I'm very excited as well, Daniel, and congratulations. Trackmania, wow, still going. You know, a few years ago I sort of saw that as a kind of dying esport, but it's still getting headlines now and then. You know, it's not a top tier esport, but if you've got one of the best players out there, and you're going to have the increased likelihood of winning tournaments, and he's British as well. There's more to shout about. There's all good news, I think. Some more UK news. Red Bull MEO is returning to London for Season 2, the mobile gaming Clash Royale tournament, and Hearthstone this time. Players are going to be battling for a coveted spot in the World Final in February 2020. I believe the first one was won by, Scottish player Liam Thunderstruck McCarran, who won there's another tournament. I think in another tournament he won a contract with Fnatic, which didn't last long, but again, some good UK talent in Clash Royale. This is a good financial story here. I first read about on Esports Insider by that man Adam Fitch again, UK Esports Reporter of the Year. Hitmarker has launched an equity crowdfunding campaign. Hitmarker being the esports jobs platform, of course, and they're doing bloody well on. Which site is it now? Crowdcube. There we go. They're doing really well on Crowdcube. They've actually they've just hit, as of now, Tuesday evening, £150,000 they've raised at some 344 investors. They've really done well, Hitmarker, to kind of grab and own the esports job space. I've used Hitmarker to find people when I had to hire people for British Esports Association, and I found volunteers for Esports News UK through there, and it's worked very well, and I haven't had to pay a penny. I believe they've got more promoted positions now, where if you're an employer you can pay more. That's annoying, isn't it, Crowdcube? You're not letting me see your post properly. That's annoying. But yes, impressive video. Go check it out. Good luck to them. Very good luck. This is some interesting news. The Royal British Legion has launched the Legion Games, so following in the footsteps of the Army and I can't remember who the other one is now. RAF, I think it is. The RAF that have been doing their own esports things. They've got an esports room, and they took part in a show match at Insomnia Gaming Festival. The Royal British Legion are getting involved. They're basically going to have regular gaming content on their Twitch channel. Content creators in the UK with armed forces veterans to compete against each other in a variety of games. That sounds interesting. And they've said, by launching the Legion Games, we hope to build on the existing community of armed forces personnel who enjoy gaming, while connecting them with an audience who otherwise may not know much about the lives of those who serve. That was Chanel Blake, Head of Innovation and Planning at Royal British Legion. Can't wait for the first stream on Friday, 8th of November, so this Friday, and we're excited for what the future holds. And the first stream, starting at 5 o'clock on Friday, will feature two angry gamers playing against armed forces veterans such as Daniel and Ryan. This is great news. I look forward to seeing that. more content. And MCM Comic Con has had some esports back again. They didn't have some esports for a year or two. They used to have the ESL Prem, some of those finals there back in the day. And just the other weekend, they've had the Player Unknown Battlegrounds, Mountain Dew. What was the actual tournament here? Game Fuel League. There we go. And it wasn't a British champion that won. It was Sturla Hoberg, aka Intens from Norway. So congrats to Sturla. Yeah, so he's the lucky winner of an epic piece of priceless loot, a Mountain Dew branded beach buggy, inspired by the PUBG in-game vehicle. I actually missed that. I'd be interested to see a picture of that. I wonder if there's a picture of that. I'm going to Google it while I'm doing this, guys. Let's see if there's an actual picture of it here. Is that it? I mean, this is on... If that's it, I mean, that's pretty damn cool. This is being valued at $2,500. It is a Mountain Dew thing. I mean, that's a pretty cool, weird prize. But props to them. And in Call of Duty news, lastly, guys, we've had 2 UK players step up as subs for upcoming Call of Duty League teams. Shawnee has joined London Royal Ravens as a sub, joining his former teammates, Sean O'Connor. So yeah, I'm really excited about Royal Ravens. And elsewhere, we've got a veteran British player here, Tommy, who's joined the Dallas Empire as a sub. So more stuff to look forward to. You know, we've got a lot of talent in Call of Duty. In fact, a lot of the games I've mentioned in this news roundup today involves a lot of British talent. That's the end of the video today, guys. Sacco Snackos, I've got a bit of banana cake that my wife and my son made earlier. So I dove into the pot and broke a bit off. They won't be happy when they see the chunk of cake missing. Yeah, it's nice. 7 out of 10. I can't give any lower because I'll get in trouble. But I wouldn't give any lower anyway because I'm being honest. That's it from me this week, guys. I had a comment the other week on the YouTube from someone saying, why'd you do these videos? Why'd you keep doing these videos and not many people watch them? People know me. I don't do my site or the YouTube for views. I do it because I enjoy it. I love doing this stuff. If I get views, that's a bonus. If I don't, it doesn't bother me. I mean, if I want to be big on YouTube, I need to be doing content every single day. But I set myself the challenge earlier in the summer, or whenever it was, just do these weekly videos to the end of the year. Just see what happens. Just have fun with it. I want to do more than just writing articles. I know I've got a boring monotone voice, but you know, some people have found these videos useful. Some people don't like reading articles, and I get that. So I like to, you know, it doesn't take me long to put these videos together and to research them and things like that. So I'm happy to do it. But they're going to probably stop soon anyway when my twins arrive. So if you do enjoy them while you can. I don't know how long they're going to be around for, but I'll try and keep them up. That's it from me, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. And come on, G2. We're going to do this.